Welcome back to 602 Row Show. This is the picks episode for week 9. This is the Fantasy Suites week.
Mhm.
If you haven't watched our review episode of Hometowns, go ahead and click back. Watch that episode first, like and subscribe. But we're going to get into week 9 picks. Um, Go ahead and just jump straight to the pricing here. It's pick 2. You can fit everybody.
Mhm.
I know we've touted chalk quite a bit here, but I'm outside the top 10, and I would very much like to get inside the top 10. So, Gabby, again, we'll go through the. You can see the prices on your screen. I'm not going to read them off. You can fit whoever the hell you want. Gabby,
Yeah.
Susie, Rachel. Um, this is where things start to get a little murky for chalk team. You can figure out a lot based on the footage we have left, but we still don't know who won or how.
We do not know who won. We don't know how. We did get word from at least Reality Steve and a couple of other places the order of the fantasy dates. Have you seen that?
I haven't.
Oh, so the order is going to be Susie last. I forget who goes first and second, and that doesn't really matter as far as the previews goes. But it goes.
Recorded order or show order?
I would imagine recorded. Based off of what I've heard from Susie's reaction, I think it's recorded.
So then it's also got to be the show order.
Yeah, that's what I would
She
assume.
blows this up, right? Like that's what we've
I've
been
heard,
waiting
yeah,
on.
yeah, I've heard that it's a Maddie-like reaction from Peter's season where she gets really upset that he slept with the other two girls. And so it has to be in recorded order. Um, but yeah, so word is that Susie goes last, and there is drama about how the other two dates progress.
If you're on a show where the concept is guy dates 30 girls and you're one of them,
Yep.
and you get to the point where guy meets 4 girls' families, you're
Mhm.
not allowed to be upset that he fucks everybody.
100% agree. I also find it though really interesting because again, we haven't seen that side of Susie yet, or haven't even heard that might be a concern of hers, right? Like we have like this is going to come out of left field. It's going to appear as if she's a crazy person because the producers haven't invested in telling her story.
Now, what we have seen is a lot of preview footage of a woman who looks a lot like Rachel, right? So we see Rachel and Gabby standing at a rose ceremony, and then we see a
Mhm.
woman who looks a lot like what Rachel was wearing, looks like Rachel losing her shit.
Yeah.
This episode is the one that I am banking on for Gabby to hit over 10.5 swears for the season. We need a bunch. We need Gabby to lose it a little bit.
Mhm.
But from a week to week standpoint, um, obviously it is easy to say you want the girls to get the roses. However, in a situation where we know it's going to be a disaster, up to and including negative points from the girls that make it through from questioning their relationship,
Mhm.
there is a lot of volatility potential in
Yeah.
week 9. The other piece I'm concerned about from a fantasy aspect is that they're going to end this episode somewhere stupid to go into a cliffhanger so they could do the women tell all on Tuesday night.
Yep. Which is what they've historically done prior to COVID.
So my biggest concern from a scoring standpoint is that no one gets a rose in this
Mhm.
episode.
Yeah.
So from what we've seen, not even spoiler alert. If you're watching this far into the season, you know it's all spoilers. If Susie goes home, if Susie self eliminates, and the other girls don't get roses, that gap is way tighter than I'm comfortable with.
Yes. Plus, I mean, as you kind of alluded to, we don't know what proportion of the episode is focused on what piece of this either. Like it could be that each girl gets a half hour, and then we have a half hour of just shit show.
Yeah, disaster.
Um, Or it could be that like, the first two girls each get 45 minutes and then Susie's eight gets a half hour and yeah, we end on a show cliffhanger, right? Like there's so much up in the air still. And I mean, for reference to you and I are filming this on Tuesday night following Hometowns. And so we haven't seen a lot of what's been put out yet, commercial wise and promo wise by ABC. And so we might get a little bit more information as the week progresses, just about what we might like the content might look like. Obviously, ABC is going to probably put some of their tricks into play with these promos. Um, but even knowing, like, again, just the general format of it would be really helpful as far as making picks.
I think my dream scenario is Susie doesn't get mad at him until after her overnight date.
No, I'm pretty sure she gets mad at him. Like, I don't think they go on the overnight date.
I'm just saying that would be my dream scenario. That's what I want points wise out of Susie. Because
Yeah,
if we
just
could
tell.
get her to hit the overnight and then have a meltdown,
I know.
she's got to be in your lineup.
Yeah.
It would be so much cleaner if we knew that that all happened and then like maybe she self eliminates or maybe she doesn't. Because like if we could get her like about to make the decision after overnights, like that would be she would be number 1A for sure, and 1B wouldn't matter honestly. It would probably just be a two.
Yeah.
So having said all of that,
Mm-hmm.
jumping over to picks, we both have Gabby and Rachel. So,
Perfect. I hadn't seen yours, so
so
yeah,
there's a chance that Susie makes her way into my lineup with some favorable ads coming out of ABC.
same.
I am very, very concerned about the rose ceremony.
I am. I'm just not sure what all we're going to see from Susie. Like how that argument display of emotion occurs
Yeah.
and how much points she would actually get from it. Because if it's one event that she's crying in, that's just one instance of crying, right? Um, and so like if she's just tearing up and sobbing because he just told her that he slept with all the other two girls, that's one instance of crying. That's all you get for that.
So the fantasy suite is worth 8. Roses are worth 6.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
in
40.
yeah, but it's actually 20 points if Susie sends herself home
Mm-hmm.
and doesn't go to fantasy suites. That's
Yeah.
a 20-point spread if the roses happen. I don't think I don't think there's any scenario that Susie can make up 20 points.
And even if we don't get to the rose ceremony, that's only a 14 point. I mean, it's 14 points, which is still really significant, especially at this point in the game.
The crying is going to come down to scoring.
Yeah,
The swearing might be there. The awkward conversations, the anxiety, worry, and jealousy.
because it's gonna be awkward. It's gonna be hella awkward.
So here's something I just thought. Jesus, here's something I just thought of. Looking at the scoring. So
She gets confirmation points.
getting sent home is -6.
Yeah.
Insulting the bachelor is -5.
Uh-huh.
Rejecting a rose is -5.
Uh-huh.
So normally you won't. Oh boy.
Well, and I just thought of the confronting him. So like, would she get points for confronting the bachelor, or is it only
It's
confronting
for
other contestants?
confronting opponents, other contestants.
Okay.
So I have Gabby and Rachel because of what we have seen. We know they're moving on, right? Most of my thoughts on how the season plays out are pretty public on this show, and right or wrong, it doesn't really impact my week 9 picks.
Yeah.
I feel pretty confident that Rachel and Gabby are the two moving on
Mm-hmm.
from this episode.
Yeah.
the things for me that really call it into question from a lineup standpoint is there a rose ceremony?
Hmm.
And are we even right? Now, we've been told that this season ends as a disaster,
Sure.
but we could just as easily have Susie show back up while Rachel's crying on the stairs, and uh,
Yeah, totally true.
so this is
Yeah, I mean,
definitely the safe picks.
it is. Yeah, these are the safe picks. And I think I definitely am looking forward to seeing more different promos than what we've seen so far. I think what we've seen so far paints a very specific story. And so I'm interested to see other promos to see if there's any wiggle room in that at all.
So I haven't seen press release from ABC. The one thing that would be huge would be if they did the women tell all on Monday and the overnights on Tuesday. I don't see a scenario TV wise why that would happen,
I
but
also,
we'd have a promo coming out of Monday night that would be everything.
yeah, I feel like even the order that they presented the commercial last night, they put the fantasy suites first and then they advertised the women tell all. So I would assume they're going in that order.
So yeah, Rachel Gabby, um, if you're chasing points, okay. If you're chasing points, you can make a really, really strong argument for Susie. And you can
Yes.
do it a couple ways. And you just have to hope that it's not a situation like we had last week with Serene, where the spread is insignificant.
Yeah.
You really want Susie to blow it out of the water, whether it's positive or negative, interaction wise. Obviously, you want positive points, but
Yeah.
I think if you can put yourself in a situation where the rose ceremony doesn't happen in your mind, you can make a serious argument for Susie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I could get there from where I'm sitting. Third place in 602 Rose Show, and a significant amount back off of first. And then 15th place globally, where these two look like complete chalk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And also from a person who doesn't love gambling.
I love gambling.
Wait, it's a sure thing.
No, if you saw my betting record on my Twitter, you'd understand that even if I think it's a sure thing, it's not. Wisconsin +3 and on the money line tonight. Again, we're filming Tuesday. You guys won't see this until that game's been decided. But yeah, I don't know if I can get there with the information we have right now. But if I see a promo that suggests to me that the rose ceremony doesn't happen,
Mm-hmm.
which is possible, because even the promo footage we do have, it's a disaster.
Yeah, like the girls might not come back for the rose ceremony.
And that just draws it closer to wherever Susie might have left it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I agree with you. It's way more likely that she doesn't have an overnight date and then ask if he fucked the other girls.
Yeah.
But you never know.
I mean, like being a girl, I feel like that's probably how it
I mean, if you get
went.
swept up in the moment, yeah. You wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, you had two other overnights the last 2 days.
No, because they have to have like a serious like dinner before they go to have sex. There's always like a serious dinner where
Yeah,
they
but
talk
that doesn't mean they talked about anything of substance.
about, okay, but like that's the opportunity for you to like slow down, take a breath, and be like, you had two other fantasy suites this week.
It's like, why do you smell like Gabby?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way I can get there. If I was chasing real big,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm certainly worried about the people with less to lose.
Yeah.
Because if that play works out, I have a feeling it's a wide point spread.
Yeah.
It's like a really boring date from Rachel or Gabby, and then a rose ceremony doesn't happen, and Susie's like, especially the edit, right? They can do whatever they want with the edit. And if Susie's like all sexual chemistry and fire, and then talking about like her dad, and I could see it. I could see it being really big. I could see it being a really big point spread.
I'm just like imagining how all these conversations play out together. I mean, it's like a really funny sequence of events for me.
Well, it would probably feel a lot like the dinner with Sarah.
Yeah, yeah,
Imagine if we had seen Sarah's date. That's this date with
yeah.
Susie.
Like,
So yeah, I mean that's just kind of where I'm sitting at. Did you have any other thoughts on lineup construction?
I don't think so. I mean, like you guys can go back and like reference our review show from episode 8, and where we have like some of the breakdown of points from Rose Show or Rose League. Um, you can also always look in the app too. So you can always check like who has the highest average of points or who is getting the most number of like minuses for any category or pluses for any category, just to try to make sure that your picks are as data driven as possible.
You're ready for these. This is a whole season.
Okay.
Gabby's averaging 32. Susie's at 28.6. Rachel's at 27.8. This
Yeah.
is tight. It is very tight. Serene was sixth. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Again, like we don't have a standout yet. And again, I feel like that's really rare for the Bachelor and Bachelorette seasons. Like normally you have like a lead, right? You have someone that like has been like killing it the whole season and like they're gonna make it to like at least top 2, top 3.
I mean, it's kind of
This
Rachel to a certain extent. She's been spoon fed kind of
like
a beneficial edit.
it's like yeah, like it's Rachel, but like we don't know why it's Rachel, right? Like we don't know anything about her. Like we know that she keeps winning the group dates out of nowhere, so clearly there is a connection, but we don't actually know about her, right? Like we're not cheering for her because she's just a person, and that we confuse with Susie, as you did.
Yeah, I go back and watch the review show. I had all kinds of issues this week. So definitely go and join the Rose League, 602 Rose Show. We're like fourth from the top. You'll find us. We're right there. Like and subscribe because the recap show for the week 9 episode is probably going to be a doozy. Um, and we'll either include or break out the women tell all, which I'm sure will also be a disaster.
We might need to make that 2 separate episodes.
So we get criticized for our episodes being too long, and that is fair. So hey, thanks for joining us this season. There will be a couple more shows, one more set of picks for the finales.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, happy picking. And if you're feeling kind of frisky, drop us a line in the comments and let us know your dream scenario for starting Susie. And we'll go through those, and maybe if one hits, we'll bring somebody on the show, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
So, hey, thanks
We'll
for.
also have I'll be putting out a couple of shorts too this week about fantasy suites. So go ahead and also like us on Instagram or follow us on Instagram.
And the tags are right there underneath our smiling faces. You can find us on the gram. So thanks for joining us. Like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time on 602 Row Show.